Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your source for the finest 2A propaganda brought to you by TNVC.com. Today I want to kick off episode number 223 with some good news about some bad men. According to the Houston PD, two dudes dressed up like cops and started banging on the door of a house occupied by a woman and her two adult sons. They woke up, answered the door, and the cosplayers rushed in and immediately started shooting. One of them hit the other though, and when the injured guy dropped his gun, one of the residents picked it up and shot the other home invader dead. The residents of the home were not hurt, and the injured crook got away. Think this experience will modify his behavior? Comment below.
So you bought some nods and now you're ready to rock, right? You knew you needed training to run that rifle like a Chad, so why should night vision be any different? TNVC.com is your source for the night fighter training you need to be effective.
So the big giant news this week is it looks like Big Daddy has stepped in it bigly. This is still developing as I record, but it appears BDU owes somebody a lot of money because deputies from Alachua County Sheriff's Office served a writ of reprieve and seized a whole bunch of property from BDU's Gainesville gun shop, which is right next to their corporate headquarters. There were no Fed boys seen on site, and the seizure appears to be entirely related to collections, not criminal charges. Ironically, their Google listing says the store is closed for remodeling. Now, I'm not a lawyer because I can do math, but maybe if the man shows up with a court order, open the door for them next time. The total amount of debt is not public knowledge, but BDU did settle with Rare Breed over a patent violation on their forced reset trigger. And it's no secret BDU has been the subject of pointed criticism for some of their other business decisions. Supply chain issues have hit many companies hard, and I'm no businessologist, but I think it's fair to speculate those same supply chain issues would hit a subscription-based discount gun shop a little bit harder than businesses that don't charge a monthly fee for not having anything in stock. What do you folks think? Is this the end for BDU? Thankfully, it is the end for those relentless, unsolicited texts pushing us to choose the turd with peanuts in it, because at least it isn't the turd with corn in it, for now. As you know, we don't go simping after political parties on this channel, but I do want to point out that every single governor who signed a constitutional carry law was reelected. Yay, go team, right? Okay, so beyond just patting ourselves on the back, remember, this is useful information so you can leverage it against your own governor regardless of party. One of the most important tools we can use to stop bad policy is to remind them what the costs of elections are. So be sure to bring this up every time you call your governor's office. And as the political spam fades and the pumpkin spice reaches its crescendo, we are also passing into another season. Every 2 or 3 years, one of these smart gun startups makes the rounds fleecing gullible investors, and it looks like this season's hottest new smart gun vaporware is called BioFire Technologies. They've been around since 2016 and managed to kludge together a fingerprint reader and a solenoid prototype inside a Glock back in 2018. Now, I'm sure that's useful so long as your fingers never get wet, but now they secured another $14 million on the promise to bring an actual, real product to the market next year. Why such a derisive tone in my voice? Well, it's not that I'm against so-called smart guns. Well, yes it is. Smart guns are not smart. They are a terrible idea. Even if these systems were actually secure and reliable, and they never are, they would only serve as an excuse not to treat a firearm with the grave responsibility it demands. What do you think? Would you be willing to buy a smart gun if it had 5 years of reliable service in a large metropolitan police department? Comment below. This guy keeps getting sued because he obstinately refuses to obey the law. If you're thinking it's a little unseemly for the chief law enforcement officer in a jurisdiction to set an example of total disregard for the law, well, maybe you and I are just old-timey relics of the past. But North Carolina law requires Sheriff Gary McFadden, not to be confused with the infinitely more based Gary Fadden, to issue concealed carry permits within 45 days of application. Now, If you gave me a month and a half to look up a record and sign a form, I think I might just be able to swing that. But despite a ridiculously generous timeline, McFadden slow-walked applications until he caught a court judgment compelling him to obey the law. Still, he refused to comply, and Grassroots North Carolina has filed another suit against him. GRNC President Paul Vallone said McFadden is taking up to a year to process applications, and none of the other 99 counties are experiencing any delays. If you'd like to help GRNC stick it to the man again, please donate at grnc.org. Before we get to your moment of Zen, I just want to remind you to check out the Bulletproof Workshop hosted by my friend and hero, Jeff Gonzalez. Jeff is a combat veteran, respected instructor, and genuinely one of the nicest people you will ever meet. The Bulletproof Workshop is about improving human performance and features guests from all walks of life. New episodes every Tuesday. Yesterday's guest was Mark McGinnis, founder of the SEAL Legacy Foundation. As always, we'll link down there in the doobly-doo, so why not check out what Jeff's up to when you're finished here. And now for your moment of Zen. Hey friends, do you like pews and pew-related things? Do you want to help us keep delivering you pure and good American pew propaganda at the low price of free 99? We literally couldn't make this show if it weren't for the generous support of TNVC.com, purveyors of the finest non-GMO night vision devices handcrafted from fine Corinthian leather in the old world style. They also have mounts, lights, training, swag, and all sorts of other barrel-aged single malt gear to make you the bump in the night. And remember, if you aren't subscribed to our channel, you make puppies cry and Captain America's disappointed. I love you.